The gardens of the Al Rashid estate stretched endlessly under the Dubai sun, their perfectly manicured lawns and fountains a testament to unlimited wealth. Karim Al Rashid stood at his office window, his tailored suit as crisp as his demeanor. At 35, he had already doubled his family's fortune through smart investments and an uncanny ability to turn struggling companies around. Maya Johnson rushed through the busy streets of Manhattan, her medical scrubs hidden under a worn winter coat. The bitter January wind whipped at her face as she hurried to catch the bus that would take her to her second job. At 28, she was doing everything she could to make ends meet while finishing her nursing degree. Her little apartment in Queens wasn't much, but it was home for her and her young daughter, Lily. Their worlds couldn't have been more different, but fate had other plans. "Mr. Al Rashid, the board meeting starts in 5 minutes, his assistant reminded him through the intercom. Karim straightened his tie and gathered his papers. Today's acquisition would be his biggest yet. Metropolitan Healthcare, a chain of hospitals across New York that was facing bankruptcy. The previous owners had run it into the ground, but Karim saw potential where others saw failure. Maya arrived at Metropolitan General just as her shift was starting. The hospital had seen better days, but the staff still gave their all to every patient. Rumors of a buyout had everyone on edge. Some said they'd all lose their jobs. Others whispered about miracle investors who would save them all. "Did you hear? Nancy, another nurse's aide, caught up with Maya at the time clock. Some big shot from Dubai bought us out, the whole chain." Maya's heart sank. She needed this job, both jobs, to keep up with Lily's medical bills. Her daughter's asthma meant frequent doctor visits and expensive medications. Karim's arrival at Metropolitan General caused quite a stir. His security detail cleared the lobby as he walked through, taking mental notes of everything that needed improvement. The equipment was outdated, the paint was peeling, but the staff, they moved with purpose and dedication. He rounded a corner just as Maya was rushing to answer a patient's call. The collision sent her armful of fresh linens flying. She dropped to her knees, scrambling to gather the sheets before they touched the floor. "I'm so sorry, I should have been watching where..." Her voice trailed off as she looked up into the most intense dark eyes she'd ever seen. Karim found himself kneeling to help her, something he couldn't remember ever doing before. "The fault was mine," he said, his accent giving his words a musical quality. Their fingers brushed as they reached for the same pillowcase. Maya pulled back quickly, her cheeks warming. "Thank you, sir. I should get these to room 412. "Wait," Karim said, surprising himself. "Your name?" "Maya Johnson, sir. I'm just a nurse's aide." There was nothing just about her, Karim thought. Her simple ponytail couldn't hide her natural beauty, and despite her obvious exhaustion, her eyes sparkled with life. That evening, Karim couldn't focus on the acquisition papers. Maya's face kept appearing in his mind. He had his assistant pull her employee file, telling himself it was just part of his routine staff evaluation. Single mother, working 2 jobs, studying to become a registered nurse, excellent performance reviews, perfect attendance. "Find out everything about her," he told his head of security, discreetly. Maya tucked Lily into bed that night, grateful that her daughter's breathing was better. "Mommy, are we going to have to move again?" Lily asked, clutching her worn teddy. "No, baby, everything's going to be fine." Maya kissed her forehead, praying she was telling the truth. The next few weeks brought changes to Metropolitan General. New equipment arrived daily. Construction crews began renovating entire floors, and Karim Al Rashid seemed to appear wherever Maya was working. "You're doing your rounds efficiently," he commented one morning, making her jump as she checked inventory. "Mr. Al Rashid, I didn't see you there." Maya's heart raced. "Yes, I try to be thorough. And you're studying nursing?" His interest seemed genuine. "Yes, sir. 1 more year to go." "Admirable. And challenging, I imagine, with a young daughter." Maya stiffened. How did he know about Lily? Karim saw her discomfort and quickly added, "I review all employee files, hospital policy." That night, a courier delivered an envelope to Maya's apartment. Inside was a scholarship offer from the Al Rashid Foundation, covering not only her remaining nursing school expenses, but also a generous living stipend. Maya stared at the papers, tears forming in her eyes. This could change everything for her and Lily. But nothing came without strings, did it? The next day she marched into Karim's office, scholarship papers in hand. "I can't accept this." He looked up from his desk, admiring her courage. "Most people wouldn't dare enter his office unannounced." "Why not?" Because I haven't earned it. And I don't want anyone thinking..." "Thinking what?" He stood, walking around his desk. "That a hard-working mother deserves support to achieve her goals, that talent should be nurtured." Maya felt her resolve weakening. "Mr. Al-Rashid." "Karim, please." "Karim, I don't want special treatment." He smiled, and for a moment, he wasn't the intimidating billionaire, but just a man. "The foundation offers several scholarships each year. You're qualified. The only special treatment was bringing it to your attention personally." That evening, Maya sat with Lily, watching her draw pictures with the new art supplies that had mysteriously appeared at their door. "Mommy, is the hospital man going to visit again?" Lily asked. Maya nearly dropped her coffee. "What hospital man?" "The nice man in the suit. He brought the art stuff and said, 'You work very hard.'" Maya's mind raced. Karim had been to her apartment, had met her daughter. She wasn't sure whether to be touched or terrified. What she didn't know was that Karim sat in his penthouse at that very moment, looking at Lily's crayon drawing of 3 stick figures, a small girl, a woman with a ponytail, and a tall man in a suit. His phone buzzed with a message from his mother in Dubai. "Another charity gala? When will you settle down and give me grandchildren?" Karim touched the drawing gently. For the first time in his life, he could picture exactly what he wanted. The question was, how to make it happen without destroying the very thing that had drawn him to Maya, her fierce independence and dignity. Outside, the city lights twinkled like stars, and somewhere in Queens, a little girl dreamed of her mother's smile and a mysterious man who made wishes come true. Maya couldn't sleep that night. The scholarship papers sat on her kitchen table, and every time she walked past them, her stomach did a little flip. She'd worked so hard for everything in her life, her job, her tiny apartment, her daughter's well-being. Nothing had ever been handed to her. And now this? Her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "I hope Lily enjoyed the art supplies." Maya's hands shook as she typed and deleted several responses before finally sending, "She loved them. But please don't do that again without asking." The response came quickly. "I apologize, have dinner with me tomorrow." Maya stared at her phone. Was Karim Al-Rashid, billionaire owner of half of Dubai, asking her on a date? She thought about saying no. She should say no. But instead she found herself typing, "I don't have a sitter. Bring Lily." The next evening, Maya stood in front of her mirror, trying to make sense of her life. She'd changed outfits 4 times before settling on a simple blue dress she'd bought on sale last year. Lily twirled around in her best party dress, excited about going to a restaurant where, as she put it, they bring you bread before the food comes. A sleek black car pulled up in front of their building. Maya expected a driver, but Karim himself stepped out, looking somewhat less intimidating in dress pants and a cashmere sweater. "Hello, Maya," he said, then knelt down to Lily's level. "And you must be the artist who made me that beautiful drawing." Lily giggled and hid behind her mother's legs. Maya felt her heart skip a beat at how natural he was with her daughter. The restaurant was elegant but not overly fancy. Maya suspected Karim had chosen it specifically to make them comfortable. As they were seated, she noticed there were other families with children dining there. "I wanted to apologize properly," Karim said after they ordered. "It was presumptuous of me to visit your home without permission." "Yes, it was," Maya agreed, but she smiled to soften her words. "Though Lily seems to have forgiven you." The little girl was busy drawing on the children's menu with the crayons the waitress had brought. Karim watched her with genuine interest. "She's very talented," he observed. "Does she take art classes?" Maya shook her head. "We can't. There isn't room in the budget for extras right now." "That's why you should accept the scholarship," Karim said quietly. "It would free up resources for other things." Before Maya could respond, their food arrived. She had to admit, watching Karim help Lily cut her chicken into bite-sized pieces made something warm bloom in her chest. "My father died when I was young," Karim said suddenly. "My mother raised me alone until she remarried when I was 12. Maya looked at him with new understanding. "That must have been hard. It was different. We had money, of course, but I remember how tired she always looked, trying to be both parents." His eyes met hers. "You remind me of her, that same strength." After dinner, Karim insisted on driving them home. Lily fell asleep in the car, her head resting against Maya's arm. "Thank you for tonight," Maya said softly as they pulled up to her building. "It was nice." "Nice enough to do it again?" Karim's smile was hopeful. Maya found herself nodding before she could think better of it. Over the next few weeks, a routine developed. Karim would often join them for simple dinners at Maya's apartment, bringing takeout from restaurants Maya could never afford. He seemed to enjoy the normality of it, helping Lily with her homework, discussing Maya's nursing studies, even watching cartoons on Maya's ancient TV. But rumors at the hospital were starting to spread. Maya heard the whispers when she walked by. "Gold digger. Sleeping her way to the top. Won't last once he gets what he wants." One day, she overheard two nurses talking in the break room. "Did you see her? Acting like she belongs with someone? Like him? As if a billionaire would seriously be interested in a single mother from Queens." Maya rushed to the bathroom, fighting back tears. The worst part was, they were saying exactly what she'd been thinking herself. That evening, when Karim arrived with Chinese food, Maya was quiet. "What's wrong?" he asked after Lily had gone to bed. "Maybe we should stop this," Maya said, staring at her untouched food. "Stop what?" "This. Whatever this is. People are talking." "Let them talk." Karim moved closer to her on the couch. "It's not that simple. I have to work with these people, and they're right. What could you possibly want with someone like me?" Karim was quiet for a long moment. Then he took her hand. "Do you know what I see when I look at you? I see someone who never gives up, who puts everyone else first, who makes me feel like a better person just by being around her. You think, I care about what people say. I care about how I feel when I'm with you and Lily, like I'm home." Maya felt tears sliding down her cheeks. "I'm scared," she whispered. "Of what?" "Of letting myself believe in this, of letting Lily get attached, of falling in love with you." Karim pulled her close. "Then we're scared of the same things." But life wasn't about to make things easy for them. The next morning, Karim's mother arrived unannounced from Dubai. Amira al-Rashid was everything Maya had feared: elegant, sophisticated, and clearly shocked to discover her son was dating someone so far beneath their social status. "Habibi," she said to Karim in their first private moment. "What are you thinking? A single mother? An American? What will people say?" "I don't care what people say," Karim replied firmly. "You should care. You have responsibilities. The family name is mine to carry as I choose." But Maya could see the strain in Karim's face when he came to dinner that night. She knew he was torn between his heart and his duty. What she didn't know was that across town, Amira was making calls to all her social connections, determined to find a suitable wife for her son before this infatuation could go any further. And, in a luxury hotel suite, a beautiful woman named Layla was unpacking her bags, ready to remind Karim of the arrangement their families had made years ago. An arrangement he seemed to have forgotten. Layla stood in front of the mirror in her hotel suite, adjusting her designer dress. She had known Karim since they were children, and their families had always assumed they would marry. The news that he was involved with an American nurse's aide had brought her rushing to New York. She wasn't about to let some nobody steal what was rightfully hers. Meanwhile, Maya was having a particularly difficult morning at the hospital. Someone had leaked photos of her and Karim to a gossip website, and now everyone was talking about them. The pictures showed them having dinner, walking in the park with Lily, and even one of Karim carrying Lily on his shoulders at a street fair. "Maya, Mr. Al-Rashid wants to see you in his office," Nancy said, trying to sound neutral but clearly burning with curiosity. Maya's heart pounded as she walked to Karim's office. She found him pacing, looking worried. "Have you seen the pictures?" he asked as soon as she closed the door. "Yes." "Is that why you called me up here?" "No, it's—" He ran a hand through his hair. "My mother is throwing a dinner party tonight. She wants you to come." Maya felt her stomach drop. "Your mother hates me." "She doesn't hate you. She just doesn't understand yet. Please come. Show her the Maya I know." How could she say no when he looked at her like that? "What about Lily?" "Bring her. Bring. My mother should meet her too." That evening, Maya stood in front of her closet feeling hopeless. Nothing she owned was suitable for dinner at the Ritz-Carlton. Then there was a knock at her door. A delivery man held a large box from an expensive boutique. Inside was a stunning but tasteful black dress, with a smaller dress for Lily in matching fabric. A note read, "Just be yourself. K." The Ritz-Carlton's private dining room was intimidating. Crystal chandeliers sparkled overhead, and the table settings probably cost more than Maya's monthly rent. Amira al-Rashid sat at the head of the table like a queen on her throne. But the real shock came when Maya saw who was sitting next to Karim, a gorgeous woman in a red designer dress who looked like she had just stepped off a runway. "Maya, this is Layla Rahman," Karim said, his voice strained. "A family friend." The way Layla's hand rested on Karim's arm suggested she was more than just a friend. Maya felt sick. "Layla and Karim have known each other since childhood," Amira said with a pointed smile. Her father and Karim's father always hoped they would marry. Maya watched as Lily innocently climbed into Karim's lap, completely unaware of the tension around her. Layla's perfect smile faltered for just a moment. "What a charming child," Layla said, her tone suggesting she found Lily anything but charming. Throughout dinner, Maya had to watch as Layla touched Karim's arm, laughed at his jokes and reminded him of shared memories. Amira beamed at them like a proud mother. "Remember that summer in Monaco?" Layla asked, her voice honey-sweet. "When we snuck away from our parents and spent the whole day on the yacht." Maya pushed her food around her plate, feeling more and more out of place. She didn't have memories of Monaco or yachts. She had memories of double shifts and discount grocery stores. "Mommy, can we go home?" Lily whispered, sensing her mother's discomfort. "I don't like the fancy lady. She looks at you mean." Maya's eyes filled with tears. Even her 6-year-old could see what was happening. "Yes, baby, we should go." Maya stood up. "Thank you for dinner, Mrs. Al-Rashid. We need to leave. It's past Lily's bedtime." "Maya, wait." Karim started to get up, but Layla grabbed his arm. "Let her go, Habibi," Layla purred. "We have so much to catch up on." Outside, Maya tried to hail a cab with shaking hands. Lily hugged her legs, confused and upset. "Maya!" Karim's voice called from behind them. He had followed them out. "Don't," Maya said, not turning around. "Just don't. It's not what you think. Layla means nothing to me." "Really? Because your mother seems to think she means everything." Maya finally faced him, tears streaming down her face. "I can't compete with that, Karim. I can't compete with someone who knows all your stories, who fits into your world. I was crazy to think this could work." "You don't have to compete with anyone." Karim reached for her, but Maya stepped back. "Yes, I do. With Layla, with your mother's expectations, with your whole world. And I'm tired. I'm so tired of feeling like I'm not good enough." A cab finally pulled up. Maya helped Lily in, then turned to Karim one last time. "Don't come to the apartment anymore. Don't. I bring gifts. Just don't." Back at her apartment, Maya sat on her bed after putting Lily to sleep. She took out her phone and finally looked at the scholarship papers she had photographed. With shaking hands, she deleted the pictures. She couldn't accept anything from him now. What she didn't know was that Karim stood in the rain outside her, building for hours that night, wrestling with choices that would affect not just his life, but the lives of everyone he cared about. Inside the Ritz-Carlton, Amira and Layla celebrated what they saw as a victory. But they didn't know Karim as well as they thought they did. They didn't know that watching Maya walk away had shown him exactly what he couldn't live without. And none of them knew that in Maya's apartment, a little girl was adding something to her nightly prayers. "Please God, make the fancy lady go away and bring Karim back to make mommy smile again." Sometimes the simplest prayers carry the most weight. Maya threw herself into work, picking up extra shifts to avoid thinking about Karim. But everywhere she looked in the hospital reminded her of him. The new equipment he'd bought, the fresh paint on the walls, even the better quality coffee in the break room. It all spoke of his presence. Lily stopped drawing pictures of the three of them together. Instead, she drew sad faces and rainy days. When Maya asked her about it, Lily just shrugged and said, "I miss Karim." At the hospital, the rumors had changed. Now people whispered about how Maya had blown her chance at a better life. Some even blamed her for the sudden slowdown in hospital improvements. The renovation of the pediatric ward had mysteriously stopped halfway through. What Maya didn't know was that Karim had barely left his office in days. He sat at his desk, staring at the family photos Amira had strategically placed there, pictures of him and Layla at various society events over the years. "The Rahman family is expecting an announcement," Amira said, walking into his office, without knocking. "Don't embarrass us, Habibi." Karim looked at his mother, really looked at her. "Like you were embarrassed when father died? When you married James 6 months later?" Amira froze. They never talked about her second marriage, which had ended in a messy divorce 2 years later. "That was different," she said quietly. "Why?" "Because you followed your heart instead of duty. You chose love over family expectations. But I'm not. Allowed the same choice. I made a mistake." Amira's voice hardened. "I won't let you make the same one. Maya and Lily are not a mistake." "The girl is an opportunist," Amira snapped. "And that child, who knows who the father is?" Karim stood. Up so quickly his chair crashed into the wall. "Get out, Karim. Get out of my office. And don't ever speak about them like that again." After his mother left, Karim pulled out his phone. He had dozens of unanswered messages from Layla, but only one from Maya, sent the morning after the dinner. "Please respect my wishes and leave us alone." He'd honored her request, but it was killing him. Every morning he drove by her apartment building on his way to work, just to make sure she and Lily were okay. He'd seen them walking to the bus stop, Maya looking tired but determined, Lily's little backpack covered in unicorn stickers. Meanwhile, Layla had moved into the Ritz-Carlton permanently. She made sure to be photographed at all the right society events, always dropping hints to reporters about her special relationship with Karim al-Rashid. One morning, Maya was checking on her patients when she saw the newspaper someone had left, in the waiting room. On the front page of the society section was a photo of Karim and Layla at a charity gala. The headline read, "Wedding bells for Dubai's most eligible bachelor." Maya ran to the bathroom and threw up. Nancy found her there, crying in a stall. "Oh, honey," she said, handing Maya some paper towels. "Men like that don't marry girls like us. It's better you learned that now." But that evening, as Maya walked home from the bus stop with Lily, a familiar black car pulled up beside them. "Maya, please," Karim said, getting out. "Just give me 5 minutes." "Go away," Maya said, pulling Lily closer. "The newspaper story isn't true. Layla's been planting rumors." "I don't care what's true anymore," Maya cut him off. "Look at your life, Karim. Look at my life. We're from different worlds." "Then let me into your world," he pleaded. "I don't want that other life. I want this. Walking home from the bus stop, helping with homework, watching cartoons on your old TV." Lily broke free from Maya's grip and ran to hug Karim's legs. "I drew you pictures," she said, "but Mommy said we couldn't send them." Karim knelt down and hugged her properly, his eyes meeting Maya's over Lily's head. "I missed you too, little one." Maya felt her resolve weakening, but then a photographer jumped out from behind a parked car, camera flashing. "Mr. Al-Rashid, is this your secret family? What about your engagement to Layla Rahman?" Karim's security team appeared from nowhere, blocking the photographer, but the damage was done. Maya scooped up Lily and ran into their building, her heart pounding. That night her phone wouldn't stop ringing. Reporters had somehow gotten her number. They wanted to know if she was Karim's mistress, if Lily was his secret child, if he had been paying her to keep quiet. She turned off her phone and held Lily as they both cried. The next morning, Maya called in sick to work for the first time in her life. She couldn't face the stares, the questions, the judgment. She sat at her kitchen table trying to figure out what to do next. A knock at the door made her jump. But it wasn't reporters or Karim. It was an older woman Maya had never seen before. "Hello, Maya," the woman said with a kind smile. "I'm Sarah Thompson. I was Karim's father's second wife before he died. And I think it's time someone told you the real story of the Al-Rashid family." Maya hesitated, then stepped aside to let her in. Sometimes help comes from the most unexpected places. Sarah sat at Maya's kitchen table, looking strangely at home in the modest apartment. "Would you believe me if I told you that 25 years ago, I was exactly where you are now?" Sarah took a sip of the coffee Maya had made, her eyes taking in the small but tidy kitchen. "I was a kindergarten teacher when I met Hassan al-Rashid. He came to pick up his nephew from my class one day because Amira was too busy with some charity event." Maya sat down, curious despite herself. "Karim's father?" "Yes. Hassan was different from what you'd expect. He cared more about making the world better than making money. The wealth was just a tool to him." Sarah smiled at the memory. "He used to say that true wealth was measured by how many lives you touched, not how many dollars you had." "What happened?" "We fell in love. Simple as that. But not simple at all. Because he was already married to Amira." Sarah's face clouded. "It wasn't a happy marriage. They'd been arranged since childhood, just like they're trying to do with Karim and Layla now." Lily wandered into the kitchen, rubbing her eyes. She'd been napping on the couch. "Well, hello there," Sarah said warmly. "You must be Lily. You look just like your mother." Lily climbed into Maya's lap. "Are you Karim's mommy?" "No, sweetheart. I was married to his father after his mother." Maya stroked Lily's hair. "What happened with Hassan?" "He divorced Amira. The scandal was enormous. His family nearly disowned him. But Hassan didn't care. He said love was worth any price." Sarah's eyes grew sad. "We had 5 wonderful years together before the accident. He was visiting a construction site for a new hospital wing he was funding. There was a collapse." Maya reached across the table and squeezed Sarah's hand. "Amira never forgave me. She blamed me for stealing her husband, for the scandal, for everything. After Hassan died, she made sure I was cut out of everything. The only reason I kept any connections in their world was because Hassan's brother stood up for me." "Is that why she hates me so much? Because I remind her of you?" Sarah nodded. "Partly, but it's more than that. Amira's greatest fear is losing control. After Hassan left her, she threw herself into managing Karim's life, determined to make sure he would never disappoint the family like his father did." "But what about her second marriage?" Maya asked. Karim mentioned it. "Ah, yes, James. He was American, actually, a business consultant. For a brief moment, Amira let herself follow her heart, but when that marriage failed, it just confirmed her belief that duty and tradition were all that mattered." Lily had fallen asleep in Maya's lap. Sarah watched them with gentle eyes. "You know, Hassan would have loved you. He would have seen what Karim sees. Someone real in a world of pretense." Maya felt tears forming. "It doesn't matter. Now the press, the scandal, I can't put Lily through that. The press will move on, they always do, but love, real love, that's harder to find than any fortune." Sarah pulled something from her purse, an old photograph. This was taken a month before Hassan died. The photo showed a younger Sarah and Hassan at what looked like a county fair. They were eating hot dogs and laughing, looking completely normal and completely in love. "Karim keeps this photo in his desk drawer," Sarah said softly. "He's more like his father than Amira wants to admit." Just then, Maya's phone buzzed with a text from Nancy. "Turn on the TV now, Channel 7. Maya grabbed the remote with shaking hands. The news was showing live footage of a press conference at Metropolitan Hospital. Karim stood at a podium, looking more serious than Maya had ever seen him. "The recent media speculation about my personal life has gotten out of hand," he was saying. "So let me be clear. Yes, I have been seeing Maya Johnson. No, she is not a gold digger or an opportunist. She is the most honest, hard-working, and genuine person I know." The reporters erupted with questions, but Karim held up his hand. "I am not engaged to Layla Rahman. Any rumors to that effect have been greatly exaggerated. As for my relationship with Maya and her daughter..." He paused, looking directly into the camera, as if he knew Maya was watching. "They are the best thing that has ever happened to me. And I'm not letting anyone, not the press, not society, and not even my own family drive them away." Maya's hand flew to her mouth. Sarah smiled knowingly. "If you're watching, Maya," Karim continued, "I want you to know that I don't care about different worlds or social classes or what anyone thinks. I care about you, I care about Lily, and I'm not going anywhere." The press conference exploded into chaos. Reporters shouted questions, cameras flashed, and somewhere in the background, Maya could see Amira looking like she might faint. "Well," Sarah said, standing up, "I think that's my cue to leave, but Maya, remember this, happiness takes courage. Hassan taught me that." After Sarah left, Maya sat holding Lily and staring at the TV long after the press conference had ended. Her phone was blowing up with messages from co-workers and friends, but only one message mattered, from Karim. "I meant every word, but I'll still respect your wishes if you want me to stay away. Just know that I love you, both of you." Maya looked down at her sleeping daughter, then at the photo Sarah had left behind. On the back, in faded ink, was written, "Love is worth any price." She picked up her phone and typed, "Come over, we need to talk." What she didn't know was that across town Layla was having a very different reaction to the press conference, and she wasn't about to let go of her dreams of becoming Mrs. Al-Rashid without a fight. Layla watched the press conference replay on her hotel room's giant TV screen, her perfectly manicured nails digging into the leather armrest. This wasn't how things were supposed to go. She'd spent years planning her future as Mrs. Al-Rashid, and now some nobody from Queens was ruining everything. She picked up her phone and dialed a familiar number. "Daddy, we need to talk about our investment in Metropolitan Healthcare." Meanwhile, Maya paced her small living room, waiting for Karim. Lily sat at her little table, drawing with the intense concentration only children can manage. "Mommy, is Karim coming home?" Lily asked without looking up from her picture. Home. The word hit Maya hard. Somehow, without her noticing, Karim had become part of their definition of home. A knock at the door made them both jump. Maya opened, to find Karim standing there, looking less put together than she'd ever seen him. His tie was loose, his hair slightly messy, as if he'd been running his hands through it. "Hi," he said, simply. Before Maya could respond, Lily launched herself at him. He caught her automatically, hugging her tight. "I saw you on TV," Lily exclaimed. "You looked scary serious." Karim laughed, some of the tension leaving his face. "Did I? I was nervous." "Why?" "Were you nervous?" Lily asked. "You just said you love us. That's not scary." Out of the mouths of babes, Maya felt tears pricking her eyes. "You're right," Karim said, looking at Maya. "Loving you both is the easiest thing I've ever done. Being afraid to admit it, that was the scary part." Maya gestured toward the couch. "We should talk." "Here." Lily thrust her drawing at Karim. "I made this while we waited." The picture showed 3 stick figures holding hands, standing in front of what looked like a castle. "Is this us?" Karim asked. Lily nodded. "At your big house, Mommy says it's like a castle." "Baby, why don't you go play in your room for a bit?" Maya suggested. "The grown-ups need to talk." Once Lily was gone, silence fell between them. Maya broke. "It first. Sarah Thompson came to see me today." Karim's eyes widened. "Sarah? I haven't seen her since your father died. She told me everything, Karim. About your father, about Amira, about why this is all so complicated." "It's only complicated if we let it be," Karim said. "My father understood that. It took me longer to figure it out. But the scandal, your mother, the company..." "Maya, look at me." Karim took her hands in his. "Do you know what I've been doing since that dinner at the Ritz? Looking at my life, really looking at it. And you know what I realized? All those things I thought were important, society's approval, my mother's expectations, the right kind of marriage, they're just chains. My father broke free of them. Now it's my turn. Your mother will never accept me. Then that's her loss. I've already moved all my personal assets into separate accounts. The company is mine, not hers. She can't threaten me with disinheritance because everything I've built myself." Maya sat down heavily on the couch. "What about Layla?" Layla is living in a fantasy she created when we were children. I never promised her anything. I never wanted that life. What do you want? Karim smiled. I want to help Lily with her homework. I want to watch bad TV with you after she goes to bed. I want to build a life that matters, like my father tried to do. And I want to do it with you. Just then, Maya's phone buzzed. It was a text from Nancy. Emergency staff meeting tomorrow morning. Sounds bad. What's wrong? Karim asked, seeing her face. Nothing, just work. Maya hesitated. Karim, if we do this, if we really try to make this work, I need you to promise me something. Anything. No more gifts. No more scholarships. No more trying to fix everything with money. I need to know you love me for who I am, not for who you could turn me into. Karim looked at her with such tenderness it made her heart ache. Maya, don't you understand? I fell in love with you because you don't need me to fix anything. You're already the strongest person I know. The moment was broken by Lily running back in. Can we have pizza? The kind with the cheese in the crust. They both laughed, the tension dissolving. Pizza sounds perfect, Karim said. What none of them knew was that across town, things were being set in motion that would test their love in ways they never expected. Layla sat in her father's office, watching as he made phone calls. As the largest shareholder in metropolitan healthcare after the Al Rashid Group, Marcus Rahman had considerable influence. By morning, rumors would begin circulating about financial irregularities in the hospital's management. Are you sure about this, Princess? Marcus asked, hanging up the phone. Once we start this, there's no going back. Layla thought about the press conference, about how Karim had looked when he talked about Maya. I'm sure, Daddy. Sometimes you have to destroy something to save it. Back in Maya's apartment, they sat on the floor eating pizza and watching Lily demonstrate her latest dance moves. Maya's phone kept buzzing with messages about tomorrow's meeting, but she ignored them. For now, she just wanted to enjoy this moment of happiness. Later, after Lily was in bed, Karim pulled Maya close on the couch. Move in with me, he said. Suddenly, what? Not to the penthouse, I know that's not your style. We'll find a place together, something that can be ours. Somewhere Lily can have a real yard to play in. Maya thought about her tiny apartment, about the struggles and memories it represented. I don't know. Just think about it, Karim said. No pressure, no rush. We'll do everything at your pace. As he left that night, Maya felt hopeful for the first time in weeks. But hope can be a fragile thing, especially when there are people determined to crush it. The next morning, Maya arrived at the hospital to find the atmosphere tense. Groups of employees huddled in corners, whispering. Nancy grabbed her arm as soon as she walked in. They're saying there's going to be layoffs, Nancy said in a low voice. Something about financial irregularities and an investigation. Maya's heart sank. The emergency meeting was scheduled for 9, and as she watched more staff members arrive, she saw fear on every face. These people had families, mortgages, children to support. Dr. Williams, the hospital administrator, looked grim as he addressed the packed conference room. I'm sure you've all heard rumors. I wish I could say they weren't true, but this morning, the board received notice of an external audit. There are concerns about how the recent renovation funds were managed. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Maya felt sick. She knew exactly who was behind this. Until the audit is complete, all improvements and renovations are on hold. And yes, there will be some staffing adjustments. You mean layoffs? Someone called out. We prefer to call them strategic restructuring, Dr. Williams said weakly. Those affected will be notified by the end of the week. Maya's phone buzzed in her pocket. A text from Karim. Just heard about the audit. This isn't what it seems. Come to my office. She slipped out of the meeting and took the elevator to the executive floor. Karim was pacing his office, looking furious. The Rahmans, he said as soon as she walked in. They're behind this. Marcus Rahman just conveniently discovered irregularities in our books. Can they do this? They're the second largest shareholders. They have enough power to cause trouble. Karim ran a hand through his hair. This is Layla. She's trying to force my hand. What do you mean? If the audit goes badly, it could tank the hospital's reputation. Hundreds could lose their jobs. Unless... Unless you give her what she wants, Maya finished quietly. You. Before Karim could respond, Amira burst into the office. Fix this, she demanded. Call Layla. Tell her you made a mistake. End this foolishness with the nurse. Mother, no, you listen to me. Your father's wild ideas about love nearly destroyed this family once. I won't let you do the same thing. Maya started to leave, but Amira blocked her path. This is your fault. You've bewitched my son, turned him against his family, his duty. That's enough. Karim's voice cracked like thunder. Maya, please stay. Mother, if you can't speak to her with respect, you can leave. Amira's face went pale. You would choose her over your own mother. I'm choosing happiness over fear, love over duty, just like father did. And look what happened to him, dead in an accident, leaving behind a fortune for that American woman to fight over. Karim went very still. What did you say? Nothing. Amira looked flustered for the first time Maya had ever seen. Father's accident, the construction site collapse. Karim's voice was dangerously quiet. You always said it was poor construction, poor safety standards. It was. That's what. The investigation. What investigation? The one Marcus Rahman led. Karim pulled out his phone. Sarah told Maya some interesting things yesterday about father's plans for the hospital, about how much the old guard opposed his ideas for changing things. Maya watched, as understanding dawned on Karim's face. It wasn't an accident, was it? Amira sank into a chair, suddenly looking old. You don't understand. He was going to give everything away. All our wealth, all our position. He wanted to turn it into charity hospitals, free clinics. Marcus and the others, they couldn't let that happen. Maya felt the floor sway beneath her feet. Are you saying they murdered him? No. It was just supposed to scare him. The construction site. They just wanted to stop the project. No one was supposed to be there that day. Hassan wasn't supposed to be there. Karim looked at his mother with horror. You knew. All these years, you knew. I found out afterward. Marcus told me. He said it would be better for everyone if we just accepted it was an accident. The insurance paid out, the company stayed stable. And you married James to distract yourself from the guilt, Karim said, bitterly. Did Sarah know? No. That's why they had to drive her away. She kept asking questions, kept pushing to continue Hassan's projects. Maya thought about Sarah's visit, about the sadness in her eyes when she talked about Hassan. How much pain had this family's secrets caused? Karim picked up his desk phone. I'm calling the police. You can't prove anything, Amira said quickly. It was years ago, and if you try, Marcus Rahman will destroy this hospital. All those people will lose their jobs. Is that what you want? Maya touched Karim's arm. Wait, think about this. We need a plan. Just then, Karim's assistant burst in. Mr. Al-Rashid, the pediatric ward, there's a problem with the renovation work. The ceiling collapsed. Maya's blood ran cold. Oh God, the children! They ran to the pediatric floor, hearts pounding. The scene was chaos. Nurses evacuating patients, doctors shouting orders. Dust filled the air. Everyone's out, Dr. Williams reported. No injuries, thank God. But the whole ward will have to be shut down until we can assess the damage. Karim surveyed the wreckage, his face hard. This wasn't an accident either, was it, Mother? Same playbook as 20 years ago? Amira said nothing, but her face told them everything. Maya's phone chimed, a text from an unknown number. Such a shame about the accident. But these things happen when proper procedures aren't followed. Perhaps it's time everyone remembered their proper place. Elshi showed the message to Karim. His eyes blazed with fury. Enough, he said, no more games, no more secrets. It's time to end this, once and for all. What he didn't know was that Layla had one more card to play, one that would put not just the hospital at risk, but Maya and Lily's lives as well. Maya couldn't get the image of the collapsed pediatric ward out of her head as she rode the bus home. If any children had been hurt, she shuddered. Her phone buzzed with another message from Layla. Give up now, and no one else has to get hurt. She deleted it without responding. Karim had spent the afternoon in meetings with his lawyers, looking for ways to prove what they now knew about his father's death. But Amira had been right. After so many years, evidence would be hard to find. The bus turned onto her street, and Maya's heart stopped. Police cars surrounded her building, lights flashing. She jumped off before the bus fully stopped, running. Toward her apartment. "Ma'am, you can't compete." Officer blocked her path. "That's my apartment. My daughter—" Maya's voice broke with panic. "Maya!" Sarah pushed through the crowd. "Lily's fine. She's with me. We were at the park when it happened." "When what happened?" Sarah led her around the corner where Lily sat on a bench, happily eating an ice cream cone. "Someone broke into your apartment, ransacked the place." Maya hugged Lily tight, her whole body shaking. "How did you know to pick her up?" Karim called. "He had a feeling something like this might happen. Asked me to keep an eye on you both." Maya's phone rang. "Karim, are you okay? Is Lily safe?" "We're fine. We weren't home. Sarah, I know, I'm on my way. Don't go up to the apartment. Stay with Sarah." 20 minutes later, Karim's car screeched to a halt beside them. He jumped out, looking frantic, until he saw they were okay. Lily ran to him and he scooped her up. "Ice cream for dinner," Lily announced proudly, oblivious to the tension around her. Karim managed a smile. "Is that so? Did you save any for me?" "Sarah bought me 3 scoops." Maya touched Karim's arm. "The apartment, the police are finishing up. It's bad. They took your laptop, scattered your papers everywhere, but they left something too." He pulled out his phone, showing her a photo. On her bedroom wall, someone had spray painted, "Go back where you belong." "This is exactly what they did to me," Sarah said quietly. "After Hassan died, break-ins, threats, accidents at work, they're following the same pattern." "They're not getting away with it this time." Karim's voice was steel. "I've already called my security team. You and Lily are coming to stay with me." "Karim, please, Maya, just until we sort this out. I have a safe house outside the city. My mother doesn't even know about it." Maya looked at her building, at the police cars, at Lily happily sitting on Sarah's lap. What choice did she really have? "Okay. But first I need to get some things from the apartment." The destruction inside made her want to cry. Every drawer had been dumped, every picture frame smashed. Her nursing textbooks lay torn on the floor. But worst of all was Lily's room. They'd even ransacked that, throwing her stuffed animals around, ripping her drawings off the walls. "I'm going to be sick," Maya whispered. Karim pulled her close. "We'll replace everything, I promise." "That's not the point. They went after my daughter, Karim, my baby." "I know." His voice was rough with emotion. "And they're going to pay for that." As they packed some clothes and essentials, Maya's phone buzzed again. This time it was a video message from another unknown number. She opened it, then nearly dropped. The phone. The video showed Lily at the park with Sarah, filmed from nearby. Then it showed Maya's bus route home from work. Finally, it showed Karim's office at the hospital. The message below read, "Nowhere is safe." Karim took one look at the video and made a call. "Change of plans. Get the jet ready. No, the private airstrip. 1 hour." "Jet? Karim, what are you—" "We're going to Dubai." "What? We can't just—" "Yes, we can. Think about it. They'd never expect it. While they're watching the house outside the city, we'll be halfway around the world. And in Dubai, I have resources, connections. We can fight back. My job—" "Lily's school—" "Maya, look around. They're not going to stop. Next time it might not be just property they damage." He took her hands. "Trust me, please." 2 hours later, they were in the air. Lily was thrilled. She'd never been on a plane before, let alone a private jet. She bounced in her seat, asking questions about everything. "Will we see camels? Does your house have a pool? Can I have more ice cream?" Maya watched her daughter's excitement and felt a mix of emotions she couldn't quite name. Fear, yes, but also something else. A strange sense of destiny, perhaps. Sarah had come with them. "I'm not letting history repeat itself," she'd said firmly when Karim invited her. Now she sat across from Maya, her eyes distant. "I never went back," she said softly. "After Hassan died, I was too afraid. Maybe if I had—" "You can't blame yourself," Maya replied. "No, but I can help make it right now." Sarah's eyes focused on Maya. Hassan's death was no accident. And somewhere in Dubai, there's proof. Marcus Rahman and his cronies were too arrogant to destroy everything. They never thought anyone would dare look. Karim joined them, having finished a phone call. "I've contacted some old friends, people who were loyal to my father. They're ready to help." Maya looked out the window at the darkness below. Somewhere down there, Layla and Marcus Rahman probably thought they'd won. That they'd scared the little nurse back to her place. They had no idea what was coming. But as the plane flew east toward the rising sun, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that the real battle was just beginning. In a few hours, they'd land in Dubai, a city of gold and secrets, where the past and present were about to collide. Dubai rose from the desert like a city from a dream, all gleaming towers and golden light. Maya watched through the car window as they drove from the airport, Lily fast asleep with her head in her lap. The flight had been long, and reality was starting to sink in. She'd left everything behind, her job, her home, her whole life. "You're thinking too hard," Sarah said from the seat across from her. "I can hear the wheels turning from here." They weren't heading to the Al-Rashid family mansion. Instead, Karim had brought them to a private compound on the outskirts of the city. The house was beautiful but understated by Dubai standards. "This was my father's private retreat," Karim explained as they pulled up. "No one knows about it except the old staff, people who were loyal to him, not the company." An elderly man waited at the door, his face lighting up when he saw Karim. "Young master," he said in Arabic, then switched to English. "We've waited so long for your return." "Abdul," Karim embraced him. "Thank you for keeping this place ready. Your father always said you would come back when it was time." Abdul's eyes moved to Maya and Lily. "And I see you've brought the reason." Inside, the house was cool and peaceful. Abdul's wife, Fatima, had prepared rooms for everyone and made sure there was food waiting. Maya put Lily to bed in a room that looked like it had been set up especially for a little girl, complete with stuffed animals and books. "Fatima remembered how old your daughter is," Abdul explained. "She wanted her to feel at home." Maya felt tears threatening. These strangers had shown more kindness than her own colleagues back in New York. Later, after Lily was settled, they gathered in what had been Hassan's study. The walls were lined with books and old photographs. Maya noticed that unlike the formal photos in Amira's house, these showed Hassan laughing, working, living. "My father kept records of everything," Karim said, pulling out boxes of files. "He never trusted computers for his most important documents." "Smart man," Sarah murmured. "Computers can be hacked, files deleted, but paper remembers." They worked through the night, going through years of records. Maya's nursing training helped her spot patterns in financial documents, places where money disappeared, projects that were suddenly cancelled. "Look at this," she said around dawn, holding up a letter. 3 days before your father died, he wrote to the hospital board. He was planning to announce a complete restructuring of the company. Everything would have been turned into a non-profit foundation. Karim read the letter, his face tight. The same day, Marcus Rahman sold all his shares, then bought them back 2 days after father's death at half the price. He knew, Sarah's voice shook. He knew what was going to happen. Then Karim's phone rang. The number was blocked. He put it on speaker. "Did you really think running to Dubai would save them?" Layla's voice was silk over steel. "This is your last chance, Karim. End this ridiculous infatuation and come home. Your mother is willing to forgive everything." "Like she forgave my father?" Karim's voice was cold. "We know the truth, Layla. About the accident, about Marcus's involvement." A pause. "You can't prove anything. Want to bet?" "Father kept records of everything." Another pause, longer this time. "If you pursue this, it won't just be Marcus you expose. Think about your mother. Think about what it would do to her, to the family name. My mother made her choices, just like you've made yours. Have you told your little nurse about the baby?" Maya's head snapped up. Karim looked confused. "What baby?" "The one I'm carrying. Your baby. Remember that charity gala last month? The night you got so drunk you could barely stand?" Maya felt the room spin, but Karim was laughing. "Nice try. Layla, but I haven't touched alcohol since my father died, and I haven't been alone with you in years. Try another lie." The line went dead. Maya let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. "She's desperate." "Yes, Karim said grimly. Which makes her dangerous. Abdul appeared at the door. Young master, there's something you should see. He led them to a hidden panel in the study wall. Behind it was a safe. Your father showed me this place once. Said if anything happened to him, I should wait for the right time to reveal it. Inside, the safe was a single USB drive and a letter addressed to Karim. With shaking hands, Karim read the letter aloud. My son, if you're reading this, then my fears were justified. Marcus and the others are planning something. What yet? But I've gathered evidence of their past dealings. The drive contains everything, the secret accounts, the falsified records. I'm announcing the foundation tomorrow. If anything happens to me, you'll know why, but remember this. True wealth isn't in money or power. It's in the lives we touch, the love we share. I see how they're trying to shape you, to make you like them. Don't let them. Find your own path. Find love that makes you brave. Your mother never understood this, but I hope someday you will. Maya wiped tears from her eyes. Sarah was openly crying. He knew, she whispered. He knew they might kill him, but he went ahead. Anyway, Karim stared at the USB drive. This is everything we need, but using it means exposing your mother's involvement, Maya finished. Destroying your family's reputation. The reputation is already destroyed, a voice said from the doorway. They all turned to see Amira standing there looking tired and old. I betrayed everything Hassan believed in. Let me help make it right. Behind her stood Abdul, looking apologetic. She followed you from the airport, but she came alone. Amira stepped into the room. I've lived with this guilt for 20 years, watching them turn my son into something Hassan would have hated. No more. She turned to Maya. I owe you an apology. You're exactly what Karim needs, what this family needs. Someone brave enough to stand up for what's right. Maya felt Karim tense beside her, unsure whether to believe his mother's change of heart. How did you know we were here? He asked. Because I remember, Amira said simply. I remember the man your father was before I let fear change him in my memory. This was his favorite place, where he felt most himself. She touched a photograph on the wall. The man I fell in love with before. Duty and family expectations twisted everything. Suddenly, Lily's scream pierced the air. Maya's heart stopped. They ran to her room, but they were too late. The window was open, the curtains blowing in the desert wind. On Lily's bed was a note. Now let's talk about what really matters. Maya felt her world collapse. My baby, she whispered, staring at the empty bed. They took my baby. Karim was already on the phone, barking orders in Arabic. Amira grabbed the note, her face pale. This is Marcus's private compound address. Layla's taunting us. She wants us to come. It's a trap, Sarah said. I don't care. Maya's voice was steel. That's my daughter. We'll need a plan, Karim said, ending his call. Marcus's compound is like a fortress, but I know someone who can help us get in. Abdul stepped forward. The service entrance. I worked there before I came to work for your father. Many of the old staff are still loyal to the Al-Rashid name, the true Al-Rashids, not what the company has become. Within an hour they had a plan. While Karim created a distraction at the main gate, Maya would enter through the service entrance with Abdul. Sarah and Amira would wait in a car nearby, ready to drive them away. Maya, Karim caught her arm before they left. Whatever happens, she kissed him, hard and quick. Just help me get our daughter back. Our daughter. The words hung between them, full of promise and fear. The Rahman compound rose like a fortress in the desert night. Maya followed Abdul through a hidden gate, her heart pounding. She wore an abaya borrowed from Fatima, her face partially covered. Inside they moved through service corridors, Abdul greeting old friends who turned away, pretending not to see them. Finally they heard Lily's voice. I want my mummy, Maya started to run toward the sound, but Abdul held her back. Wait, he whispered. Listen. Shut that brat up, Marcus Rahman's voice. This whole plan of yours better work, Layla. It will. Once Karim realizes we have his precious nurse's daughter, he'll have no choice. The foundation documents will remain buried, and everything will go back to how it should be. Maya felt rage replace her fear. These people thought they could use her daughter as a bargaining chip. A commotion erupted from the front of the compound. Karim's distraction. Maya used the chaos to slip into the room where they held Lily. Her daughter sat on a couch, tears on her face but looking more angry than scared. Layla paced nearby, while Marcus Rahman stood at the window, watching the gates. "Lily," Maya whispered. "Mommy." Layla spun around, but Maya was already moving. All those self-defense classes Karim had insisted she take paid off as she knocked Layla's legs out from under her. Marcus reached for a phone, but another figure burst through the door. "Amira." "Hello." "Marcus," she said coldly. "Remember me, the grieving widow you manipulated." "Amira, what are you—" "Confessing." She held up her phone. "To everything. Live on Instagram, where all your society friends are watching. About Hassan's murder, the cover-up, all of it." Marcus lunged for her phone. In the scuffle, no one noticed Lily slip away. No one except Maya, who followed her daughter into the hallway where Karim waited. "My men have secured the gates," he said, hugging them both. "The police are on their way." Back in the room, Amira was still broadcasting. "I've lived with this shame for 20 years, she was saying. "Watch these people destroy everything my husband believed in. No more." Layla tried to run, but Sarah blocked the door. "Not this time, sweetheart. The game is over." Within hours, the truth was everywhere. Marcus Rahman and his conspirators were arrested. Layla, faced with evidence of her involvement in Lily's kidnapping, broke down and confessed everything. The sun was rising over Dubai as they drove back to Hassan's house. Lily slept between Maya and Karim, exhausted but safe. "What happens now?" Maya asked softly. "Now," Karim said, "we build something new, together." 1 year later, the new Hassan al-Rashid Memorial Hospital gleamed in the New York sunshine. Maya stood at the podium, her nursing degree finally in hand, Lily beaming from the front row. "Today, we're not just opening a hospital," she said to the crowd. "We're fulfilling a dream of healthcare that serves everyone, regardless of wealth or status." Karim squeezed her hand as she sat down. Their simple gold wedding bands caught the light. In the audience, Sarah wiped away tears, while Amira, recently released from her brief prison sentence, held Lily on her lap. The foundation Hassan had dreamed of was now a reality. The al-Rashid fortune was doing what it was meant to do, helping people, saving lives, making the world better. Later that night, in their brownstone in Brooklyn, a compromise between Maya's need for normalcy and Karim's desire to provide for them, they sat on the porch swing. Lily was inside teaching Amira how to play video games. "Do you ever miss it?" Maya asked. "The private jets, the penthouses." Karim smiled. "I have everything I need right here." From inside came the sound of Lily's laughter mixed with Amira's attempts to understand Mario Kart. In the year since Dubai, Amira had worked hard to become the mother and grandmother Hassan would have wanted her to be. "Your father would be proud," Maya said softly. "Of all of us." "He would love you," Karim agreed. "Almost as much as I do." Maya leaned against him, thinking of the ultrasound photo tucked away in their bedroom drawer. Soon they would tell everyone about the new addition coming to their family. But for now, this moment was perfect just as it was. In the end, it wasn't about wealth or status or power. It was about love. Love strong enough to break down walls, expose lies, and build something new from the ashes of the old. And somewhere, Maya liked to think, Hassan al-Rashid was smiling down at the family his son had built. A family based not on duty or tradition, but on the kind of love that changes the world. The end.